Welcome back to the Susan LoPresti Wellness Mind, Body, and Soul podcast, the podcast dedicated to helping mature women heal, rejuvenate, and truly thrive in every area of life. Today's episode is both powerful and transformative because we're diving into something so simple, yet so overlooked, and that is your breath. I'm joined today by Tabatha DeBruyn, a transformational breath master whose work beautifully blends neuroscience, energetics, and emotional mastery to help people to improve, stabilize, and optimize their mental, physical, and emotional well-being, all starting with one conscious breath. Like many of the incredible guests that we've had on the show, Tabitha bridges the gap between science and soul. But what makes her work so unique is that breath is the gateway to it all. Here's something that may surprise you. 1 in 2 people are actually breathing incorrectly. And this hidden issue can impact everything from your sleep, your mood, to your energy, focus, and your overall well being. Something especially important for midlife women navigating the many transitions that our bodies are going through. In today's conversation, Tabitha is going to share how to breathe correctly, how simple shifts in your breath can improve performance in your daily life, and how breath work can be a powerful tool for managing stress, from everyday pressures to deeper emotional experiences like trauma and grief. This is one of those episodes where you won't just learn something, you'll feel the difference. So take a deep breath and let's begin. Tabitha, welcome to my podcast. I am so excited to dive into this conversation with you.
Thank you for having me. I'm excited to see where it's going to go and the tools we can offer your listeners.
Absolutely. I know it's going to be a fabulous episode, and people will definitely be resonating with this. I'd love to start with your own journey. What led you to become a transformational breath master?
It's a bit of a windy journey, but it all happened for me. I started out as a high school teacher and I loved educating students, empowering them to realize how worthy they were and capable they were and create a curiosity for learning. But my salary was capped and I had a desire for a big life. I wanted to travel with my kids. I now have a 26-year-old and a 23-year-old.
Oh,
My
nice.
husband and I have been together for 34 years. But at the time, I thought, I'm going to start an online health and wellness company. And alongside teaching, because it had flexibility and it blew up. And I really loved entrepreneurship for many reasons. And I chose to leave the classroom not because I had to, but because I felt the world became my classroom and I traveled with my kids and we did mission work. But in the meantime, I got into coaching, transformational coaching, working with a lot of other startup entrepreneurs who were perhaps opening another stream of income. And I would have these incredible people in front of me, especially women. And I would see so much potential. They would have these big desires, and then they would have these limiting beliefs that were holding them back. So I'm a curious cat, and I went back to school and I studied metaphysical psychology. I'm currently a doctoral candidate for that. But I started to work with that information to help people receive greater results in a more rapid pace. But then I found I needed to get into the subconscious mind. And then I went back to school and studied in the UK to become a rapid transformational hypnotic therapist. So when I was working with the power of the subconscious mind, we were seeing much greater results much faster. And in the meantime, I was still a mom, an entrepreneur, a coach, a wife, and I was caring for my very ill mother. She became rapidly ill at 58 years old. There was a lot of stress and anxiety around that because it was quite shocking. She was in a home, and we didn't think we were going to have much time with her at all. In fact, I had 10 years with her. So I'm grateful for entrepreneurship and the flexibility and transformational coaching because I personally was using all of these tools. I was sharing them with the family and, of course, trying to enjoy every last minute I could have with my mom. Now, I feel I had 10 extra years with her. I left nothing unsaid. I really felt like we lived present in those moments, though it wasn't easy. And I know I'm sure many of your listeners are also caregivers. When she passed at 68 years old, I knew I would grieve, and of course I did. But what I didn't know was all the repressed feelings that I had shoved down and not dealt with. So I was fine as long as I was doing and being and serving in some capacity. But if I was by myself, I was struggling with panic attacks and insomnia, heart palpitations, and I realized I was in functional depression. But I am the person people go to when they
Yeah.
are struggling. So this was something that I really struggled with. I was embarrassed by, but I was very determined to find another modality that would really help. And when the student is ready, the teacher comes.
Yes.
And that's when I found conscious, connected, active, somatic breath work, which led me to become a breath master and to be one of there are about 1,000 of us worldwide in 80 countries, certified 9D breathwork practitioners, because on the other end of one somatic journey, I had unearthed what I didn't know was resentment, guilt, shame, disappointment, anger, frustration, and deep sadness. So, through the wisdom of the body and breath and the soundscape and the coaching with this one session, I was able to allow the body to release it. And on the other side of it, I had great peace, no more insomnia. I had greater clarity in my mind. There's a new level of settled in my body and a better relationship with my mom. Even though she'd passed, I felt like it all happened for me. If I didn't actually know how hard things could feel in the body and how frustrating that can be, I wouldn't know how amazing you can feel when you find the right modality and facilitator.
Were those like childhood traumas for you in a way that you had repressed? And was the resentment towards your mom or the way you grew up? Were
Yeah,
you able to clarify that at some point?
it's a really good question. It was definitely repressed from childhood, but also continued while caring for mom.
Uh,
And I think the more we learn, the more we grow, the more we can reframe, the more positive outlook we want. Sometimes we can almost be so good at just getting through and making it work and continuing to go without actually doing the reset and acknowledging where some of that pent up hurt and trauma can be. So, yes, it was not just the grief of mom passing,
yeah.
it was for years prior.
It's so interesting that we're having this conversation today because my mom is 90 and she's been in the hospital. Now she's in a rehab, and I'm trying to get her into assisted living. And I struggle with exactly what you are talking about. I've been having trouble sleeping. I'm very anxious and I'm resentful in a way that now I'm taking care of her. So you're telling your story, and I'm thinking, wow, that's exactly what I'm going through right now. It's incredible. So, yeah, sometimes the person comes to you when you need them the most, right?
Yes,
So
yes.
there was definitely that personal experience where breath work truly changed your life.
Completely. It has impacted in a really positive way every area of my life. I love me more now because if you don't actually start to look at these feelings without the shame, without the guilt, with a compassionate understanding that sometimes life deals you some really difficult cards, and then be able to move that through the body, move it out of the body. Now I look at it and realize it all happened for me. It wasn't easy, but it made me the person I am. It allows me to be an authentic, compassionate witness to others who are experiencing it. So let me say to you, you're not alone. and you don't have to feel bad about those feelings, but processing them is really important. Or, as I know, they can come back and haunt you in ways until you do deal with them.
Yeah. Now, Tabitha, what makes your approach unique compared to other breathwork practices?
So I think breath work is such a powerful modality, and I'm thrilled that we are hearing more and more about it. It has been a healing modality for centuries. But what makes me different is I do a method called 9D breath work. And what that is, nine, like the number nine and the letter D, and that's 9 dimensions within this modality. So the first and most powerful one is breath. And so what I do is I teach simple breath patterns that change the state in the body. A lot of times people are trying to think their way out of a problem or think their way into another state. And it is very hard to find the solution when your body is in the same state that the problem or the situation was created. So, first and foremost, I create safety in the body, regulation in the body. And then in many of the journeys that I do, breath practices, we will activate. But the breath is the most powerful part. Changes the state in the body, but it also changes the state in the mind. And then we can go deeper and we can actually move into the subconscious mind where we can excavate what no longer serves someone, unleash, unlock, unshackle some of those limiting beliefs that have been planted in there, no longer serve you, and plant new beliefs. And the way we do that is, yes, through the breath, because the body is more suggestible, it is more open, it feels safe. But we also use music. Music evokes emotion. Emotion with a belief anchors it in to the subconscious. So you start to innately act from that new belief pattern. But we also use different frequencies in music, a lot of times 432 hertz, which automatically puts the body in homeostasis.
Yes.
People will come and they have trouble meditating. What I'm doing is really putting them into a meditative state by changing the state in the body, making that regulation and safety in the body, but also helping them drop into that state. And when you slow down the brain waves through music and frequencies, binaural beats, then people drop in faster. But it's also really entertaining because I use headphones and I work all over the world. We can just use little earbuds. A lot of my work is done online. But in that soundscape, there's surround sound, stereo sound. So you don't know where the sound's coming from. Again, that busies the mind. So it's very entertaining, but I also use neuro-linguistic programming, really powerful language that the brain can actually latch onto to reprogram to where they really want to go or to pull out what no longer wants to stay in the body. I use hypnotic scripting as well. So there's actually all my favorite things, all in this one breathwork practice called 9D. And it's experiential. I can tell you all the science behind it. But if you are at all curious, I would invite your listeners to go to my website. And if they sign up for my newsletter, I will send them a 7-minute cinematic trailer where you just put headphones on and it explains all the different layers, the 9 different layers, and it extracts them separately and then it puts them together so you actually feel it in the body. And then there's a 9D 5-minute reset that you can use at any time. This would be amazing for you, especially as a caregiver for your mom. It's great to use with a partner, family, at work, between appointments. So that's there for your listeners if they'd like to really feel it.
Yes, I'll make sure that I put that information in the show notes. So I'll reach out to you to get that information for sure. You share that 1 in 2 people are breathing incorrectly. What does incorrect breathing actually look like?
So most people breathe in and out through their mouth really shallow. And what you really want to do most of the time is breathe in through the nose deeply and breathe and inflate the belly. Without judgment, if your listeners are able to just notice how they breathe, Most people, it's just in and out through the mouth. And if they really think about it, a lot of people, when they breathe in, they pull the abs in, they pull in the core. But if you think about bringing air in, you want it to go right down into the belly and inflate like a balloon.
Right.
So love to do is take your listeners through a breath, even if they're driving. This is going to take them where most people sit, from fight, flight, freeze into rest, digest, and heal, where they're in a more regulated state. Is that okay? Shall we do that?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, I love that.
So I'm going to count us in, and we're going to breathe deeply in through the nose into the belly and inflate like a balloon. Then you're going to breathe longer on the exhale through the mouth, like you're breathing through a straw. Let's try this together. In 3, 2, 1, deep breath in through the nose, into the belly. Now breathing pursed lips, like you're breathing through a straw. Exhale out the mouth, longer on the exhale. That one breath lowered your heart rate, lowered your blood pressure. And what I really find fascinating is it also brought more blood flow to the brain. So you're going to have greater clarity. All day long, people are breathing and moving at a rapid pace, in and out through the mouth, and that puts them into the sympathetic nervous system. And if you're there chronically, so many ailments, that's 90% of our hospital visits, are connected to stress, chronic stress. And the problem is breath is automated, so we don't even think about it. And
Right.
if it becomes your familiar, that becomes your baseline. So the moment we start to downregulate, people are like, oh, I feel calm. I must be lazy. I got to be productive. And then they move back into what feels familiar, which is fight, flight, freeze.
It's incredible that one breath, like you don't even have to do it 10 times or 15, it's just one breath. And I do feel more calm and clearer thinking right now because I was a little tired this morning and I feel more awake at this point.
I love that. I say
Yes.
is your superpower in many ways. And I will say that deep breath in through the nose, into the belly, longer on the exhale, just doing 1 or 2 of those, it's like magic, because when your system is regulated, you regulate others, because we mirror our nervous system regulation. So if you are calm and clear, somebody else is going to start to breathe with you, and the conversations are going to be more authentic, more genuine. People feel like, no, she sees me, she's listening to me, she's fully present with me. And that really matters.
So explain why proper breathing is foundational to overall health. And what health issues are we creating by not breathing properly?
I think there's a lot of tension, a lot of stress, a lot of burnout, and then in turn that causes can cause depression, can cause a lot of addiction cycles. That's very prevalent in society right now. But if your system is not regulated, your body can't function well. This is the place where your hormones are being created. Your body is that pharmacy, that natural pharmacy. So if your system is in fight, flight, freeze, chronically in tension and stress, it can't function properly. We get chronic fatigue. We get ailments. Our immune system goes lower. We don't digest our food properly. So just knowing, consciously becoming aware of, I can be in fight, flight, freeze for a certain amount of time. And I'm actually going to take your listeners through another exercise that can be really powerful, but you want to do it in short periods of time. So just maybe putting an alarm on your phone, as silly as that sounds, a couple of times in the day to become consciously aware. How am I breathing? Am I holding my breath? Do I just need to take a couple of deep breaths in through the nose and breathe longer on the exhale?
So, what I'm hearing here is that we could actually heal different ailments that we may have, and that they could be emotional, like stress or anxiety or not being able to sleep, not by taking a pill or a sleep aid, But just learning how to breathe correctly, we could reverse a lot of symptoms. Am I correct?
100%. And I am not against using a pharmaceutical tool with a respected doctor guidance by any means. But if we have the ability to change the way our body is feeling and working, and breath is free, it's just knowing how to.
Yeah.
So, yes, I will give a breath pattern to help with sleep. You want to take a deep breath in through the nose to the count of 4. And then we're going to hold for a count of 2. And then we're going to breathe out through the nose to the count of 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Count backwards. I'll explain. And then you loop it right again, right in through the nose to the count of 4. Hold for 2. And then counting backwards longer on the exhale. What that does is it puts you into rest, digest, and heal, which is where we need to be in the nervous system to be able to get to sleep. Thinking about counting to 4 busies the mind. Holding for 2, again, you're going to busy the mind. And then breathing out longer on the exhale is the key. And backwards counting busies the brain. Bring it right around and looping that conscious connected, the body feels safe. It moves out of survival mode. And because of the counting backwards, sometimes we can just quiet those ruminating thoughts that keep us up at night.
Wow, this is such great advice. I love it.
So I'd love to teach an activation because there are times you want to be in fight, flight, freeze. You just want to do it consciously. It's the fact we just do it because we run at such a frenetic pace. But when you do it consciously, what happens is it activates the body. It can make you feel more confident, more charismatic. You can be more creative. You can, rather than reach for a cup of coffee if you're feeling sleepy, you can use the power of your breath. Now, I wouldn't recommend if somebody is driving right now to do this. If you're sitting down, then I would, and you can do this, I would recommend you give it a try. We're going to breathe the opposite of what I taught your listeners at first. We're going to breathe in through the mouth, and we're going to breathe longer on the inhale than we do the exhale. So last time I had you breathe in through the nose and long on the exhale. So it looks like this. I breathe in, I purse my lips so that I make some saliva because you're breathing through your mouth. Your mouth can get dry. I breathe in through the mouth, into the belly, inflate that belly. And then I take another sip of air. So a really long inhale. And then I relax and don't even think about the exhale. If we were to do 5 of these together, I'd love for you, if you can, not if you're driving, park this and use this later, but if you can, feel what you feel in the body. Let's do it together. In 3, 2, 1, deep breath, lots of oxygen in through the mouth and into the chest. Relax and let go. Again, deep in the belly, into the chest, relax and let go. Belly, chest, relax. Belly, chest, relax. Last one, belly, chest, relax. You probably feel just a little bit tingly, maybe like heat in the body.
In my head too, a little.
Are you feeling a little bit lightheaded?
A little bit.
Wonderful. What that is, we took the blood flow away from the prefrontal cortex. The blood flow went to the muscles. Because if you're looking to be motivated, active, you want to go, you want the blood to be there. But what else happened is you opened up access to the subconscious mind. And that's where your creativity is. We have the same thoughts over and over again in our conscious mind.
Yes.
In the subconscious mind, there's so much more power there. So just through that one activation, 5 breaths, that can change your state. So if you're frustrated, if you find yourself irritated, if you're finding yourself just down in the dumps, can't get out of bed, and you want to change your state, obviously exercise is amazing. If you think about moving the body, exercising, you're breathing in and out through the mouth.
Right.
You're putting yourself into that fight, flight, freeze temporarily. We're just doing it with a breath pattern.
So simple too. It costs nothing. There's no tools that you need, no equipment of any kind. And it just changes your whole demeanor, how you feel in a split second. I love it.
I call breath your superpower when you
Yes.
consciously how to use it for your benefit. Yeah. And then,
Tabatha, so my audience is a midlife woman. How does breath work become important for them?
so as a midlife woman, I have my kids and then caring for my mom. So I'm in the middle and juggling a career, family. We have a lot of balls in the air, many of us.
Yes.
So looking after you and knowing, okay, I can be doing for a lot of people, but I got to put the oxygen mask on me first. I really have to look after myself. But our time is our most precious resource, and many of us don't have a lot of it.
Yes,
So
that's
you
true.
can use your breath to regulate, to be able to get better sleep, to be able to actually absorb the nutrients in our food, to have greater clarity. Like a lot of us in menopause, there's brain fog. So if you can use your breath to have greater clarity, it's important. So I have a number of programs that just simply teach the different breath patterns for different reasons. And one is called a 7-day nervous system reset. It gives the fundamental basics, transformative tools, and then I take them through 9D breathwork practices that they can use over and over again. And that would just be something that would help people really become consciously aware of how they're breathing and do it when they have a small pocket of time. But when it comes to a conscious, connected somatic breathwork journey, I offer them in person and online, private and in groups. But these journeys really do help to automate as well as do a lot of the healing. I'm really known for breathing through grief and loss. And unfortunately, as middle aged women, we're surrounded by it. Many of us have been through a lot. So I have a somatic journey for releasing the 5 primary trauma imprints. Many of us have gone through ailments, or we are caring for people that are going through ailments. And I have down regulation full length journeys that are called cellular regeneration, alleviating stress and anxiety, reprogramming the subconscious mind to anchor into presence and move into optimization. So there's so many different journeys for different reasons that we as middle-aged women need some support to
Mhm.
be able to heal and optimize.
Does breathing impact hormones in any way?
It does, because when the body is regulated, you can produce the hormones to the levels that actually work for you. But if you've got a sick environment within the body, it is
Yeah.
hard for those hormones to produce well.
It's incredible because it's even with hormones, women go to all kinds of crazy stages when they're in perimenopause where the hormones are fluctuating. And if we could make it as simple as breathing correctly to level that out in some way and allow us to sleep, because sleep is such an issue when you're in perimenopause and menopause. This is life changing for women.
It is life changing. And I'm so grateful that you're giving me a platform to allow people to realize the power of their breath. And when they're going through this, there can be guilt, shame, frustration, anger. And if that's pent up in the body, then it's very hard to move to a joyful place and continue to be able to handle everything that you're dealing with. If people are curious and interested, I offer a 30-minute complimentary call. When I get to meet you and you start to build trust and you realize, oh, I can let my walls down. This is a safe place. And I hear what you are feeling. I can give you immediate breath practices, tools to be able to use that you're going to see a difference. And then I could even guide you to one of our somatic breathwork journeys that can profoundly change how you're feeling in your body and how you're dealing with life. My most popular journey is called letting go. And it
That's a good one, I'm sure.
beautiful arc, makes you feel safe in the body. It does activate. You let go of guilt and shame and resentment and sadness. And there's a level of forgiveness of self, forgiveness of others. And on the other side, people are like, that was just wild. The expansion, the lightness that people feel it's tremendous. I've had people say, I have done therapy for 10 years and one breath work session that I didn't have to talk to anybody about. Like that, we can talk. It allowed me to integrate everything that I'd learned over the last 10 years and really move through and feel differently in my body. And I would say, as many of us middle age, you have kids that are growing up in tumultuous times. And if I could get 20 to 30-year-old people in a breathwork session and let them feel the feelings and allow those feelings to move out and move through, we would have a happier society. It's just, where does a 25-year-old boy have a chance to get the anger and frustration and shame and guilt and big feelings? Where does he have a chance to get those feelings out in a safe place? And breath work, especially with 9D, because it's entertaining, it's fun, it can make a world of difference.
Yeah, just listening to you and your demeanor, you're very soothing and calm. So already someone who's working with you, I'm sure, begins to let their guard down and relax. I definitely picked up your energy as being just beautiful. So that in itself really makes a big difference, the way you come across. I wanted to ask you about neuroscience with energetics. Can you explain how breath connects the mind, body, and the emotions all together?
Well, that's a loaded question, but absolutely. And this is because there's so many layers to it. So the first one I will explain it because people will say, Tab, it's like magic. I've had one or two sessions with you and my life has completely changed.
I could
And
see that.
And it's not magic, it's neuroscience. When we create safety in the body, your body goes out of survival mode and starts to be in a calm state. Your energetic vibration is different. People interact differently with you. You are going to attract things differently. And I want to really base this in science. What will happen when you do a 9D breathwork journey is the body, the physiology changes, but your mind clarity changes. And then when we go into the subconscious mind, we are going to actually reprogram what is being put into your conscious mind. Now, that might sound convoluted. So if your listeners will play with me for a second, I'd love to just show them experiencing it is totally different.
Yeah.
If you could take a look around your room right now and just find as many red things as possible. I want you to look really closely for anything that's in the family of red. Count up as many red things. You're looking for red. Like, red is really important. We're zeroing in, looking for red. Have you got a number? Do you have a few things that are red? Did you find some?
Yes.
Okay. How many did you find?
I want to say 10
Okay,
because I have
perfect.
a lot of books on my shelves that are red. So let's say 10.
Amazing. Amazing. Can you close your eyes for a second? And how many blue things can you recall? She's
I
not
don't.
many, right? Now, this is why it's neuroscience and not magic. What we have in our brain is called the reticular activating system. It's a filter in the brain that processes what's important and puts it into the conscious mind, and everything else goes into your subconscious mind. When you think about it, we have millions of bits of information coming in at us at any given time. We would go crazy if we had to process all of that information.
Yes.
The RAS system, the reticular activating system, acts like a secretary and says, oh, that's important. Put it into her conscious mind. She can handle that. I'm going to put everything else into the subconscious mind. In that little demonstration, I said red was important. Red is important. Look for red. Red is what we're focusing on. So I programmed your reticular activating system that red was important. The blue stuff was just put into your subconscious mind temporarily. We program our reticular activating system all day long by the thoughts we have, the words we use, the influences we allow into our life, the people we are spending time with. And that is telling you that's important. Unfortunately, most of us in society today, through negative bias, they sell through pain points. It's always coming at us that we've got to do more, be better, we're not quite enough somehow. And then we reinforce with our own thoughts. I can't lose weight. I'm never on time. I'm broke. I always make mistakes. These are like, we can be very hard on ourselves. And these thoughts are what's programming the reticular activating system. Crazy part about it is then your brain all day long says, you're right, you made a mistake there. You're right, you're late there. It's going to go and prove that to you because that's what your brain thinks is important. So it becomes this self-fulfilling prophecy. So when you work with me and we let go and we have the body let go of the feelings that no longer serve you, and then I plant that you are vibrant, you are positive, you are capable of anything that you truly desire. You are meant for more. You live in a body that feels safe. When I plant those into your reticular activating system, your body says, you know what? My brain is all day long going to prove to me that I am filled with this life force, this vitality. I do really good things. I'm doing meaningful work in the world. And when you see that over and over again, and if somebody comes and they're like, I'm really looking for an opportunity. So we plant that in the reticular activating system. Those doors, those opportunities are in their conscious mind. So it's not magic. I've just actually changed your neuro programming.
Wow.
All
This
while you
is
were just sitting
so
there.
this is so interesting to me. I absolutely love it. I love it. Do you have any final thoughts you'd like to leave my listeners with?
I would just say if you're not living in a body that feels good and a mind that feels clear and is in a positive frame, reach out. You don't have to do this alone. And there are simple tools that you can implement because I think we're all so worthy of living a life we love in a body that feels good and a mind that is geared towards optimization. And I'd love the chance to share some of it with you.
For someone who feels stuck emotionally, where is a safe place to begin with breath work?
I would start with the deep breath in through the nose, longer on the exhale, just
Okay.
feel that, but also start to move the body. I even work with kids, and I will say if they've got these emotions, because we're all just little kids at heart, right? But I would say move the body, that activation process that I offered you. But
Yeah.
when I work with little kids and those emotions are bubbling, I get them to stomp their feet and move their arms. And once they've done 3 or 4 of those, we blow out the candles on a birthday cake. What I'm doing is I'm using breath to change the state in the body and get clarity in the mind. And the feelings, the emotions start to bubble up. Sometimes they come out, but then they're felt and they don't have to stay in their bodies any longer. So I would encourage somebody to try a somatic breathwork journey. Let's get those feelings moving. And it's nothing to be afraid of. There are going to be times where you cry. Sometimes you have no idea why you're crying. It's just pent up stress. It can even be generational trauma that you're letting go of, and you don't have to take that further in your life. I would encourage come in for a consultation so that we can guide you to what journey would be best for you and get your questions answered so we can demystify it and find a trusted facilitator because you want someone who is trauma informed, who can hold space for you, and is someone you feel comfortable integrating with after.
That's great advice. Thank you, Tabitha. I will put all of your information in the show notes, so I'll reach out, make sure I have all your social media tags and all of that. And this has been a fabulous episode. I'm so grateful that you came on, and I've learned a lot, and I truly do feel a lot better than I did when I first signed on because, like I said, I have a lot going on, and I feel a lot calmer and more relaxed, and it has to be Certainly your presence, because I picked up on your energy right away and I already started to feel calmer. And then the breathing techniques really helped a lot. So thank you so much for being here. I needed you today.
It was an honor. Thank you for having me. Wonderful
You're,
discussion.
you're very welcome. What a powerful reminder that something as simple and as automatic as our breath can truly transform the way we feel, the way we think, and the way we live. I want to thank Tabatha for sharing her wisdom, her heart, and these incredible practical tools with us today. It's amazing to realize that with just one conscious breath, we have the ability to calm our nervous system, shift our energy, and reconnect with ourselves in a much deeper way. For all of you listening, I invite you to take what you learned today and begin to notice your breath throughout the day. No pressure, no perfection, just awareness. Because that one small shift can create a ripple effect in your overall well being. If you enjoyed this episode, please share it with someone who could benefit from it and leave me a review. It truly helps the podcast to reach more listeners and more women who are ready to heal and rejuvenate their mind, body, and soul. As always, remember, your health is your greatest wealth, and you have the power within you to heal, to grow, and to thrive, one breath at a time. Until the next time, be well, stay happy, and I'll see you next week on the Susan LoPresti Wellness Mind, Body, and Soul podcast. Have a great day.